Right, so today I just wanted to do a quick live to talk about how to plan your workouts. So there's loads of information at the moment. People who have put out, oh, you can do these exercises at home, do these exercises with a chair, these exercises with your cat or your kid. And I thought it was about to, the bull mastiffs are busy, snoozing. I thought it would be a useful opportunity to talk to people about how they can plan these exercises into some kind of routine, because it's all well and good knowing how to, do step ups on your chair or dips on your couch, but how do you actually put them into a workout? So I just wanted to make a couple of points that, firstly, a workout doesn't mean you have to be jumping around like crazy, doing everything at the speed of light. Hey Gemma, hey Will. It's still important to have controlled form and good quality reps, because you're going to get the most benefit out of those, and you're also going to prevent the risk of injuring yourselves. So I want to keep it really simple. I don't necessarily want this to be aimed at those people who are maybe great at following programs, have had programs in the past, have built amazing strength or whatever. This is for average Joe who maybe, used to go to the gym on and off, or has had a trainer or done classes, or just has maybe started getting a bit fitter during lockdown. So I'm gonna attempt to write on here, but this might become redundant because it's quite difficult. So the first two things you need to decide, most importantly, I think, is how much time have you got? Yeah, so if you are still working and you have only a short period of time in your lunch break, or you want a quick workout after the kids are in bed or whatever, so you need to decide on how much time you've got. Okay, and then the other thing you need to decide is what type of workout do you want to do. So do you want something more focused on strength training, or do you want something more focused on cardio? So time and type are going to be our two things we first need to decide. So for me, I try and sort of give myself about 45 minutes when I do train. Any longer, there's a risk I'll lose, I'll get distracted by something or think of something else I could be doing. And for today, we're gonna focus more on your general sort of cardio workout for the average person who wants to stay healthy and fit and keep moving a bit. Okay, so in this time, you need to be working out roughly how many sets you're going to be able to complete. So when we're in the gym, for example, if you were strength training, we would be focusing on heavy weights, but lower reps, like 1 to 5. As we move into endurance training, it's going to be really much higher reps, sort of 12 plus. So we want that something in the middle. We want about 8 to 12 reps. Okay, so for average general training, you guys are going to be looking at reps 8 to 12. Okay, and sets is going to depend largely on how much time you've got. I would say 3 to 4 sets is going to take you about 8 to 10 minutes for each sort of section of the workout that we plan. So if you've got half an hour, 3 to 4 sets, you might be able to fit in 3 different sets of exercises. Okay, so I'd say sets, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Okay, so let me just check my notes. So the one thing I was going to say, if you're comfortably doing 12 plus reps and it's not challenging for you, then you do need to increase the difficulty. So you can increase difficulty by increasing the resistance, so add in additional weight. You could reduce the speed, tempo, pause stuff. That's going to make everything more difficult. Anyone who's ever done a press up, doing a press up quite quickly is not as difficult as if you tried to do a really slow and controlled 2 second up, 2 second down. How often would you train if you were starting back from scratch? So I've had this question quite a lot in my game changers. So I would say to most of them, I'm setting them a target of 1 to 2 a week in the beginning, because you are going to get more DOMs in the starts, you are going to get sore muscles, and I would always recommend keeping moving for that. But over time, I would say build it up 1 to 2 to start a week. Yeah, we don't have to jump in. It's like people I'm seeing out running and they're running 5k one week and they're trying to run 10k the next week. Take your time, guys. Build it up over time. So that's what I'm moving on to now, Matt, full body or split. So in this type of training, you need to decide whether you want to train upper body, lower body or full body. So I think for the average Joe, I would say focus on full body. And this will give you an all-round workout. And if you do only fit in 2 workouts a week, then you've still managed to train everything. If you're training an upper and a lower split and you only fit in 2 workouts a week, you may have only trained upper once and lower once, and that may not be enough for you. Okay, so I think a really good way to fit in exercises in a short period of time, so if you've got reduced time, is to use supersets. So really basic explanation, a superset is 2 exercises back to back and then you take your rest. So you can use, there are ways in, as a trainer, I would give people, sorry, I'm just get distracted by the questions. I would give people supersets where they're using, you know, opposite muscle groups in the same area. But what we need to do is, as really keeping it basic, I would say superset upper and lower body, okay? So going back to my workout that I'm planning here. So I've only got, say, 40 minutes and I'm going to do my sets 3 to 4, 8 to 12 exercises. So I'm going to superset an upper body exercise and a lower body exercise. Okay, so I'm going to do 8 to 12 of this exercise, 8 to 12 of this exercise, then I'm going to rest, okay? And I'm going to rest for 1 to 2 minutes, okay? And that depends, if you rest for 1 minute and you're relatively fit, then your heart rate's still going to be up when you go into your next set, which is good if you're working on sort of your fat loss, cancelling out your isolation snacks. So I would be resting 1 to 2 minutes. Obviously, if you're not as fit, you may need a little bit more rest because this is new to you and it is going to be harder. Okay, then I would potentially do another superset of a different lower and a different upper body exercise, okay? So that's 2 supersets. And these are taking me about 8 to 10 minutes each. So that's 20 to 25 minutes of my workout gone. No, 20 minutes of my workout gone. Okay, and then I would probably, for me, I would then superset another exercise and I would focus on core. So you could superset your core with another upper or another lower, depending on if you wanted more of a lower body focus. So often the ladies that I'm training, they want to do a bit more lower, so they might superset a lower and a core. Or you may want to be a bit more ninja and superset 2 core exercises. Okay, and then that's when we look at things like, I posted on my Instagram the other day a core finisher. So you could do like an exercise where you're actually moving, so a sit-up or a cycle crunch, and then a superset with an exercise where you're holding, so a plank or a side plank, something like that, okay? So then you've got your 2 different supersets, upper and lower, and then you've got your core and lower, okay? So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So it's really quite simple. You're just picking some exercises. You're not worrying about opposite muscle groups, but why this? Then you're getting a bit more rest in as well for your upper and your lower. Okay, so 2 supersets, upper and lower, 2 exercises back to back. Then you rest. You're going to repeat that 3 to 4 sets. Okay, then you're going to pick your next 2 exercises. Repeat that 3 to 4 sets. Then your last 2, repeat that 3 to 4 sets, okay? That is a really basic, simple way in which to plan a workout. So, what else have I got to? Right, okay. So I'm just going to have a quick look for these questions because they're popping up and then I get lost. So if you've got no weights, how can you make your workouts harder? So you can use, there's a few things you can do. You can make your own weight. So Jordan did a live last week on how to use make your own weight using a backpack, and you can fill your backpack with stuff from your household. So that's a good option. You can use tempos, yeah, so it's really slow and controlled reps. We can do holds, so pauses. So you could do a controlled squat, for example, down to the bottom, and then you can hold that rep, and then it'd be explosive out the bottom. There's lots of ways in which you can increase the difficulty. If you're doing a press up, it might be that you want to raise your feet in the press up in order to make it more difficult. What else can we do? There's many ways to make it more difficult. If you've got bands at home, they're a really good way to increase the difficulty of your exercises as well. What's the next question? So, my fave upper and lower exercises at home. Oh gosh. I don't massively train that way, but I would say I like to do things like my two main lifts together. So I might do my squats and my shoulder press together, and then I would do my more accessory stuff together as well. So I might do a split squat or a lunge and a press up, for example. So I like to do things that will maybe keep my heart rate up a bit more. And that's the other benefit of doing an upper and lower split. Okay, so just to summarise, if there's no more questions, you don't need to be moving at the speed of light, okay? We really still want to focus on form, making sure that you've got good technique, okay? Do movements that you're confident with, and if there's movements you want to do that you're not confident with, then I would suggest obviously getting in touch with someone who does know and can help you. There's lots of options now where people can watch a form on Zoom and stuff like that, okay? Look at what kit you've got available to you. So you need to decide at home what is realistic. You're not going to be doing sets of squats at 10 sets of 10 at 100 if you haven't got 100 kilos of weight, okay? So be realistic about what you've got available to work within your means of what you're going to be able to do. Decide how much time you've got to do the workout, and decide what type of workout that you want to do. So, you can be moving a bit faster and having less rest, over moving a bit slower, tempos and pauses, and having a bit more rest. Okay, so for average people, I would say work about 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps of each exercise. Okay, and then pick however many exercises you want, depending on the amount of time that you've got available to you. Try and work those opposite muscle groups. Try and work your full body, so you don't end up coming out of isolation with massive biceps and skinny legs, or huge legs and no arms. Week 1, week 2, especially with strength within 5x5. Well, I've got literally no idea what that means. Like week 1, week 2, etc., especially with strength as in 5. Love that someone can hear the dog snoring. Sorry about that. As I've been doing shit like... Oh, okay. So, yeah, that's the other thing, Will. That is very true. Mix it up. So, if you've been doing a lot of a particular type of training, make it, spruce it up a bit. Do something a bit different. I would definitely not be training 5x5 all of the time. You need to give yourself a bit of a deload and reduce the weight, increase the reps, and enjoy it a little bit with it, okay? So, I hope people found that useful. It is really hard to try and explain in really basic terms. Otherwise, we wouldn't have jobs if you all knew exactly how to train. And I'm not going to teach you how to be a PT in 10 minutes. But hopefully you can use that to try and, create some sort of routine. Because it is awful when you go out in the garden or you're in your lounge and you think, oh, I know these exercises, but how do I do them? And there isn't much point in doing 5 press-ups and 7 squats and then, and then being finished. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments. We will all help you always as much as we possibly can. And yeah, I hope this helps you to create some kind of workout, and I hope that people are staying sane and that actually doing exercise is helping you through this weird old time. Any questions, let me know. And otherwise, go and enjoy the sun.